Back to work on the 65 MG. Things are progressing right along. Runs and drives, interior's coming together. Turning out to be a really nice build, nice car. It's really fun to drive. But there's just one problem. It looks pretty much like it did when I bought it. I've replaced some bits of chrome that were damaged, but the exterior is very close to exactly how I bought it. Old patinaed paint, old tires, and that stance. If anybody out there knows me and is watching this, they know from my past that I generally don't leave things stock looking, appearance-wise. So this car needs a little extra touch, a little personal touch, I think. Set it aside from the rest of them out there. So we're going to get the stance right and get this exterior attitude set properly. And she's gonna look sharp. So let's get it back over into the driveway. It's really nice out, so I think we'll work on it outside. And let's get it up on some jack stands. And make this look right. So we're back talking stance and custom appearance and making this look a little more with the times, but classic look. Custom resto, not so much resto, but more modded. Anyway, it's just a driver. We're gonna make it pop. Normally I would start with the stance and then figure out the tire, but there's not a lot of options for tires on these because they're a 13-inch rim. They're very small, as you can imagine. But I decided to start with the tire first because I really wanted a specific tire in a specific size. We're going to see how that looks. And then we'll work on the stance. So what I've got here is a BF Goodrich, top of the line tire. Everybody loves BF Goodies. It's a Silvertown radial. It's actually a Coker tire, but with BF Goodrich tread. So these are awesome tires. I mean, these are top of the line, 2 1/4-inch white wall tire. So big old white walls. I really wanted the white walls on this tire, or on this car. The kids at the tire shop at Big O, they were all really interested in what these were going on because they never see white wall tires. I had to make sure to tell them, please put the white wall facing out, just in case they weren't familiar. But once I told them it was going on a 65 MG and I showed them a picture, they thought that was really cool. So the kids already got a kick out of it. Let's see what they look like on here. I've been waiting a long time to put these on here. These tires are about $350 a piece. So we're blowing the budget on this build a little bit, but oh well. Hopefully the new owner really likes white wall tires. The main reason I started with the tires before I started with adjusting the suspension for stance, so that I can measure properly. Lift with your back, not your legs. That already looks really cool. Also, live dangerously. Use non-impact sockets on your impacts. Keeps that element surprise right there at the edge. You gotta turn on the compressor. Why the wheel weights have to be on the outside. You don't suppose they could put those on the inside, do you? Well, don't worry about that right now. Oh yeah, we've got lots of room here for adjustment. Bring you on over. So these tires are 165/80 13s. So they're just a hair taller and just a hair wider than the ones I took off. The ones I took off were 155/80 13. So we're filling up the wheel well better. I love the spacing here. That's really good spacing. Plenty of room to turn. Backside again, really good spacing. Too much spacing. And that goes up in there a little bit, so room for stance adjustment there. Now the back is a little different on these. I can't get my tripod adjusted. Okay. I'm a bad cameraman, by the way. I don't know if everyone's realized that yet, but come on now. Okay, so on the back, these are different on the Mark IIs. This is a Mark II MG, meaning second generation. Now, what's different between the 1, the 2, and the 3 is the generation after this, they rounded the wheel arch. And a lot of people like those better. They'll actually cut these out of their Mark IIs and even 1s, I guess. And they'll put in the round wheel arches. Wheel well arches. Now, I really like the flat body line there. It matches this body line and this body line. I love it. I think it's like the old tire skirts that covered the old 50s cars all the way down to the bottom there. But anyway, again, we've got great spacing here. Great spacing here. This is looking pretty cool here. I like the way the tire's tucked. I think we've got room for some stance adjustment here. So I think that's our next step, is to adjust the stance so that she rides just a little lower and just a little meaner. But man, that's coming along. Yeah, I know it needs a hood still. I like it without the hood. Looks cool. Stay tuned. So yesterday, we got these sweet new meats mounted on the MG. And personally, I think it's looking sweet. I've always been a fan of white wall tires on classic cars and motorcycles. I have them on my old motorcycle from college. They really just pop on some cars. Again, I hope the new owner really likes white wall tires, because these are not cheap. And while I'm really happy with the appearance as it sits, it's not perfect in my eyes. We've got a large gap here, especially if you measure from the white wall. Because that's where your eyes is looking, and that's 4 3/4 inches. I mean, that's an unnecessary gap there of almost 3 inches. And the back tire, you can see, is tucked well up in there, so it gives this appearance that the back is higher than the front is higher than the back. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by lowering the front suspension by 1 inch. We're gonna take 1 inch out of this. So this will come down to about 1 1.8 1.25 inches. And that'll look pretty good. That'll be a good start. And I definitely want to start with the front and see how that looks when we get it back down on the ground. And kind of compress the suspension. also have a lowering kit for the rear, but I'm not sure how it's going to look. So we're going to start with the front. I don't necessarily want it to have a raked look, meaning the back is much higher than the front, giving it kind of a muscle car appearance, or yeah, like a dragster, something with big tires in the back, little tires in the front. Kind of a 70s stance, I suppose. Which I like on some cars, but this is not a muscle car, and it's not a dragster. So, I'm going to jack it up, get this wheel and tire back off, and then I'll bring you in real close so you can see what I'm doing to lower the suspension. Let's get that going. Here we are under the car now. Got the wheel off, car jacked up. And we are looking at the bottom control arm here, or the bottom wishbone. This is your spring plate here. So this is the part that we want to take off and lower. And let me show you what we're using. I found this little kit online. It's a 1-inch. They have 1/2 inch, and I hear of other people just going to Home Depot and getting some spacers. So there's all sorts of different sizes and options out there for lowering this, but they all work basically the same for this concept. You can cut your springs, put different springs in. There's a lot of options on these cars because they actually do race them. But on this part here, the way this is going to work is we're going to loosen some of these bolts on the spring plate, and we're going to attempt to slide these in without having to remove the spring and fight the spring. So with all due luck, we'll be able to swap these nuts and bolts out for fresh ones, longer ones, and with a spacer. So let's start loosening these and see what we're looking at. I don't expect these bolts have been off of here in a really long time. Really, really long time. We're going to attempt to do this with just the simplest of tools. We're working in the garage today because it's raining outside again. Okay. Top of the bolt is spinning up here, and I can't even feel it. I think it's buried in years of grease, oil, and road grime. I wasn't even sure there was tops of bolts on here when I first took a look, and I was wondering how this was supposed to work. If these bolts were welded in or whatever. But turns out they're just buried deep. very, very deep in grime. I've read that this little job here has taken some guys about 15 minutes to accomplish. I knew my car better than that to know that it's not going to be a 15-minute job. Not even one side. But should be doable with the most basic of tools. I've got a 9/16, a half-inch socket on the bottom and a half-inch wrench on the top, trying to hold it. Get it to hold it very well. Yay. Maybe 15 minutes a bolt. Okay. Yeah. I'm glad to be replacing those. So the idea, I think, my game plan, is going to be to put these bolts in and just put a nut on the bottom. And we're going to do that slowly all the way around. Yeah, we'll do two. So I'm going to replace these first. Get these in. Get that to where it'll just kind of drop down a little bit. And then we can go ahead and slide in the spacers and put the other two bolts in. And then we'll be able to take these back out briefly and slide the spacer in. I think that's going to work. Let's clean that out. The lowering of this is actually supposed to help greatly with handling, drivability, driving experience, and of course it's going to look really cool. Look at that. Okay, let's put our washer in there actually so we don't have to take it back out. So washer bolt. I'm not going to worry about the bottom washer or the spacer just yet. Nylon locking nut. Okay. Move on to the next one. Ooh. spacer's a tight fit. Let's see. There she goes. Whoa, whoa. I think that's... Go. Come on. Trying to get it lined up. Gotta get the bolt lined up. Okay. Maybe it'd help if I could see. Yeah. Actually would. Uno, spacer. Wrenching on old cars by yourself sure will keep you young. Keep you in shape. Burn them calories. Okay. Grab another spacer. It's all looking good. Check everything. It's cleaned up. So basically that's it. That's how you can lower the front end of your MG Midget all by yourself with just about a half hour of wrestling some old bolts out and wrestling some new ones in with some spacers. I'm going to quickly knock out the other side. I won't bore you with that. Grab some lunch, and then we'll come back and lower it down to the ground, do some measuring, and see what it looks like. Okay, I just finished the lowering kit on the front, 1 inch. Got both sides all finished up. Moment we've been waiting for. Let's go ahead and lower the jack. Kind of bounce the car and get it settled. And then we'll measure and take a step back and stare at it and appreciate our handiwork. I can already tell you it's lower. That looks pretty cool. Holy cow. Probably want to check the oil levels of the shocks. That looks pretty good. 4 3/4 from the white wall before, down to 3 1/4. That's like 1.5 inches. Pulled her down about 1.5 inches, it looks like. Modern old school now. I'm not thinking, I don't think I want to lower the back. You guys tell me what you think. After I upload this video, because the lowering blocks that I have for the rear, those are said to lower it 1.25 inches. Well, let's measure. Let's see. 1.25 inches. Let's bring you along. Oof. Let's call it 1/4 from the rocker panel. I mean, the wheels. There's still room in there, but maybe not a whole bunch. Let's come back up here. So we're at, well, let's call it 5.5. Simplicity. 5.5 on the front. What did I say? 7.25 on the back? Yeah. So if we lower the back 1.25 inches, it's going to bring it down to 6. We'll be at 6 at the rear, 5.5 in the front. Awfully tempting. Awfully tempting. Ollie, what do you think, Mr. Shop Inspector? It kind of has a rake to it. I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. I don't know about 1.25 inches in the back. If I could go 1/2 inch or even 3/4, that might put me where I want to be. I don't want to take a leaf out of the back springs. So let me know what you guys think. I'm going to post this video now. Let me know if it looks good the way it is, or if that rake looks a little funny. I appreciate the feedback and any comments. Let me know if you just hate white walls, or you don't like lowered vehicles. Maybe you think I should have put a 6-inch lift underneath it and some off-road BF Goodrich tires. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. It is free. Thanks.